Some people are born into families that encourage education, others are against it. Some are born into flourishing economies, encouraging of entrepreneurship. Others are born into war and destitution. I want you to be successful and I want you to earn it. But realize that not all success is due to hard work and not all poverty is due to laziness. Keep this in mind when judging people, including yourself. Therefore, focus less on specific individuals and case studies and more on broad patterns. Studying a specific person can be dangerous because we tend to study extreme examples, the billionaires, the CEOs, or the massive values that dominate the news, and extreme examples are often the less applicable other situations given their complexity. The more extreme the outcome, the less likely you can apply its lessons to your own life, because the more likely the outcome was influenced by extreme ends of luck or risk. You will get close to actionable takeaway by looking for a broad patterns of success and failure. The more common the pattern, the more applicable it might be to use your life. Try to emulate Warren Buffett's investment success is hard because its results are extreme, that the rate of luck in his life performance is very likely high, and the luck isn't something you can emulate. But realizing, well, we'll see in chapter 7 that people who have control over their time tend to be happier in life is broad and a common enough observation that you can do something with it. Success is lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose. When things are going extremely well, realize it's not as good as you think. You're not invincible. And if you acknowledge that luck brought you success, then you have to believe in luck's cousin risk, which you can turn your story around just as quickly. But more important is that as much as we recognize the role of luck is a success, the role of risk means we should forgive ourselves to leave room for understanding when judging failure. Nothing is as good or as bad as it seems. Now let's look at the stories of two men who pushes their luck. Okay. It comes in many forms: a protocol budget, philosophy thinking, and loose timeline. Anything that lets you live happily with range of outcomes. Also different from being conservative. Conservative is avoiding a certain level of risk. Margin of safety is raising odds of success at a given level of risk by increasing your chances of survival. It's magic. It's that the higher your margin of safety, the smaller your edge and you even have a favorable outcome. Optimism is usually defined as a belief that things are going well, but that's incomplete. Sense of optimism is a belief that odds are in your favor, and over time, things will balance out to good outcome, even if what happens in between is filled with misery. Okay. The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. People want to become wealthier to make them happier. Happiness is a complicated subject because everyone's different. But if there is a common denominator in happiness, a universal feel of joy, it's that people want to control their lives. The ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want is priceless. That is the highest dividend, money peace. Having a strong sense of controlling one's life is more dependable, predictor positive feelings of well-being than any of the objective conditions of life we have considered. More than your salary, more than the size of your house, more than practices your job, control over doing what you want, when you want to, with people who you want to, is the brightest lifestyle valuable that makes people happy. Money's greatest intrinsic value, and this can be overstated, is its ability to give you control over your time to obtain, bit by bit, a level of independence and autonomy that comes from unspent assets that give you a greater control over what you can do and when you can do it. A small amount of wealth means the ability to take a few days off work when you're sick without breaking the bank. Getting the ability huge if you don't have it. That can be life-changing. 6 months emergency expenses means not being terrified your boss because you know you won't ruin if you have to take some time off to find a new job. More still means the ability to take the job with a lower pay but flexible hours, maybe one with a shorter commute, on being able to deal with American budgets without the added burden of worry about how you're paid for it. My boy, my throat. Okay, then there's retiring when you want to instead of when you need to. Using your money to buy time and options of lifestyle benefit you, luxury goods and can complete with. But doing something you love in a schedule you can control can feel the same as you do something you hate. When you accept how true the statement is, you realize that aligning money toward a life that lets you do what you want, when you want, with who you want, where you want, for as long as you want, has incredible returns. I said no, that didn't make a big difference in my life. That was just the money in the bank. The difference that happened when I was 22. Part of what's happened here, I said we were using a greater wealth to buy a bigger and a better stuff. But we have simultaneously given up more control over our time. At best, those things will cancel each other out. But it feels like you are working 24/7. Compared to generations prior, control over your time has diminished. And since controlling your time is such a key happiness influencer, we shouldn't be surprised that people don't feel much happier even though we are, on average, richer than ever. The danger here is that I think most people they don't want to be wealthy. They want freedom and flexibility, which is what financial assets not yet spent can give you. But it's so ingrained in us that we have money to spend money that we don't get to see the return it takes and actually be wealthy. And since we can see it, it's hard to learn about it. Imagine how hard it would be learn how to write if you couldn't read the words and great authors. Who would be your inspiration? Who would you admire? Whose nuance the trick and tips would you follow? It would make something that is already hard even harder. It's difficult to learn from what you can see, which helps explain why it's so hard for many to build wealth. Keep this in mind when quickly judging others' success and setting your own goal. My observation is that yes, many do pass a certain level of income. People fall into three groups: those who save, those who don't think they can save, and those who don't think they need to save. This is for the letter 2. The first side is simple, but it's overlooked as that building wealth has a little to do with your income or investment returns and a lot to do with the saving rates. A quick story about the power of efficiency. The same is true with your money. Investment returns can make you rich, but whether investment rates will work, how long it will work for, and the way the markets will cooperate is always in doubt. Results are shrouded in uncertainty. Personal savings frugality, finances and conversation and efficiency. If you view building walls as something that will require more money or big investment returns, you may become a pessimistic. If you view it as part by your own frugality and efficiency, the destiny is clearer. Wealth is just an accumulated leftovers after you spend on what you take in. And since you can build wealth without a high income, but have no chance of building wealth without a high saving rate, it's clear which one matters more. The better off than you are, despite you being a worse investor, and getting more benefit for investment despite lower returns. The same is true for incomes. Learning to be happy with less money creates a gap between what you have and what you want, similar to get you get from growing your paycheck, but easier and more in control. A high saving rate means having lower expenses than you otherwise could, and having lower expenses means your savings go further than you would if you spent more. Everyone needs the basics. Once they are covered, there is another level of comfortable basics. The past there's a basis that are both comfortable, entertaining, and alignment. When you define savings as gap between your ego and your income, you realize why many people with decent incomes save so little. It's still a struggle against instinct to expand your backup filters to almost the limits and the keep up with others doing the same. People with enduring personal financial success, not necessarily those with a high incomes, tend to have a propensity to not give a damn what others think about them. Savings can be created by spending less. You can spend less if you desire less, and you will desire less and if you're careless and what others think of you. As I argue up in this book, money with lies and modern psychology and finance, but saving does not require a goal of purchasing something specific. That flexibility control over your time is unseen return on wealth. I say it's incalculable. Saving in a bank that earns 0% interest and might actually generate an extraordinary return if they give them flexibility to take a job with a low salary but more purpose, or wait for investment opportunities that come when those without flexibility turn desperate. And that hidden reason is becoming more important. If you have flexibility, you can wait for good opportunities, both in career and for your investments. You will have a better chance of being able to learn a new skill that is necessary. You will feel less urgency to choose, compared to who can do things you can't, and have more leeway to find your passion and your niche at your own pace. You can find a new routine at slow pace and think about life with a different set of assumptions. The ability to do those things when most others can't is one of the few things that with such a growing world where intelligence is no longer sustainable advantage. Having more control over your time and options is becoming one of the most valuable currencies in the world. That's why more people can and more people should save money. You are not a spreadsheet. You are a person, a screwed up and emotional person. It took me a while to figure this out, but once it clicked, I realized it's one of the most important parts of finance. When it comes in something that often goes overlooked, don't aim to be called rational when making financial decisions. Aim to just be pretty reasonable. Reasonable is more realistic, and you have a better chance of sticking with it for the long run, which is what matters most when managing money. 맞아요. That's true, that's true. Rational, reasonable. Rational, reasonable. Rational, reasonable. Yeah. Reasonable. I like the word reasonable. There is never a moment when you're right that you can bet every chip in front of you. The world isn't kind of anyone, not consistently anyways. You have to give yourself room for error. You have to plan on your plan, not going according to plan. The wisdom in having room for error is acknowledging that uncertainty, randomness, and chance, unknowns are ever present part of life. The only way to deal with them is increasing the gap between what you think will happen and what can happen while still living and capable of fighting another day. Margin of safety. You can also call a room for error or redundancy is the only effective way to safely navigate a world that is governed by us, not certainties. And almost everything related to money exists in that kind of world. The best we can do is think about us. Graham's margin of safety is a simple suggestion that we don't need to view the world in front of us as black or white, predictable, or in a crapshoot. The gray area, pursuing things where we range of potential outcomes unacceptable, is a smart way to proceed. We can't know for sure, and it speaks of probabilities. Room for edge lets you in the range of potential outcomes, and endurance lets you stick around long enough to let the odds of benefiting from a low probability outcome fall in your favor. One is volatility. Can you survive your assets in decline by 30%? On a spreadsheet, maybe yes. In terms of actually paying your bills, anything cash flow positive. But what about mentally? It is easy to underestimate what a 30% decline does to your psyche. Your confidence may become shit at a very moment opportunity is at its highest. You or your spouse may decide it's time for a new plan or a new career. I know several investors who quite after losses because they're exhausted, physically exhausted. Spreadsheets are good at telling you when the numbers do or don't add up. They are not good at modeling how you will feel when you talk your kids at night and wondering if investment decisions you made were a mistake and it will hurt their future. Having a gap between what you can actually gain versus what emotional cost is overlooked, personal room for error. It's a reasonable first approach missions to use, then an estimate of what to expect on your diversified portfolio when saving for retirement. You can use those return assumptions in about into the amount of money you will need to save each month to achieve your target net to X, nest to X, nest to X. To answer to those what ifs, you won't be able to retire like you want to predict. It can be disaster. The danger is that rational optimism most of the time, masking also the ruin some of the time. The result is in systematic underestimate risk. Room for error is more than just widen the target around what you think might happen. It also helps protect you from things you don't imagine, which can be the most troublesome effects we face. You'll change. Okay, I save a lot and have no idea what we're using to save it for in the future. Few financial plans that only prepare for a no risk, have enough margin of safety to survive the real world. But to underestimate how much their personalities, desires, and goals are likely to change in the future. Okay, I just want to read summary. Okay, okay. You and me. As a heart is a hard to overstate how such a devastating financial bubbles can be. They ruin lives. They do these things that happen. And why do they keep happening? Why can we learn our lessons? The common answer here is that people are greedy, and the greed is an incredible feature of human nature. That may be true, and it's a good enough answer for most. But remember for chapter 1, no one is crazy. People make financial decisions they regret, and they often do so with a saccharine information and without logic. But the decisions made sense then when they were made. Blaming Bubba's on greed and stopping there misses important lessons about how and why people rationalize what is a heist. What in hindsight look like greedy decisions. Okay, when investors have different goals and time horizons, and they do in every asset class. Prices that look ridiculous to one person can make sense to another because the factors that investors pay attention to are different. Momentum attracts and shortcut time traders in the regional way. The process feeds on sell. The traders push up short-term returns. They attract even more traders. Before long, and it often doesn't take long, the dominant market price setters with a majority are those with a shorter time horizon. Investors, particularly the ones setting prices, were not thinking about the next 20 years. What do you expect people to do when momentum creates an big short-term return potential? See and watch it patiently? Never. That's not how the world works. The main thing I recommend is going out of your way identify what games you're playing. How I invest my own money is detailed in chapter 20, but years ago I wrote up, I'm a passive investor optimistic in the world's ability to generate a real economic growth, and I'm confident that over the next 30 years the growth will occur in my investments. This may seem quaint, but once you write the mission statement down, you realize everything that's wrong related to what the market did this year or whether we'll have a recession next year. It's a part of the game I'm not playing, so I don't pay attention to it and am in no danger of being persuaded by it. Because it's never as good as bad as it looks. The world isn't big and complex. Luck and risk are both real and hard to identify. Do so when judging both yourself and others. Respect the power of luck and risk. You will have a better chance of focusing on things you can actually control. You also have a better chance of finding the right role models. Less ego, more wealth. Saving money is the gap between your ego and your income, and wealth is what you don't see. So, wealth is created by suppressing what you could buy today in order to have more stuff or more options in the future. That's different from That's different from saying you should aim to earn a high returns or save a specific percentage of your income. Some people won't sleep well unless they're earning the highest returns. Others will only get a good rest if they're conservative invested. To each their own, but the foundational. Does this help me sleep at night? Is the best universal guide the post for all financial decisions. If you want to do better as investor, the single most powerful thing you can do is increase your time horizon. Time is the most powerful force in investing. It makes the little things grow big and big mistakes fade away. It can neutralize luck and risk, but it pushes results closer towards what people deserve. Because it's more minority of things accounted for the majority of outcomes. No matter what you're doing with your money, you should be comfortable with a lot of stuff not working. That's just how the world is. So you should always measure how you've done looking at your full portfolio rather than individual investments. Use your money to gain control. over your time. Because not having control of your time is such a powerful and universal track on happiness. The ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want, pays the highest dividend that exists in finance. No one is impressed with your possessions as much as you are. You might think, you want a fancy car or a nice watch, but what you really want is respect and admiration. But saving for things that are impossible to predict and define is one of the best reasons to save. Everyone's life is in a continuous chain of surprises. Savings that aren't unmarked for anything in particular is an hedge against and life's inevitable ability to surprise the hell out of you at the worst possible moment. Because nothing worthwhile is free, and remember that most of financial costs don't have visual price tags. Uncertainty, doubt, and regret are common costs in the financial world. They're often worth a paying, but you have to view them as fees. A price worth paying is to get something else in exchange, rather than fines and a penalty you should avoid. Where's your room for error? A gap between what could happen in the future and what you need to happen in the future in order to do well is what gives an endurance, and endurance is what makes compounding magical over time. Room for error, often lows, is like in a conservative hedge, but if it keeps you the game, it can pay for itself many times over. Avoid extreme ends of financial decisions. Everyone's goals and desires will change over time, and the more extreme your past decisions were, the more you may regret them as you evolve. Define the game you're playing, and then make sure your actions are not being influenced by people playing a different game. Respect the mass, smart, informed, reasonable people can't disagree in finance, because people have vastly different goals and desires. There is no single right answer, just the answer that works for you. There is no single right answer, just the answer that works for you. Now let me tell you what works for me. Just show me what you do with your own money. The difference between what someone suggests you do and what they do for themselves isn't always a bad thing. It just underscores that when dealing with complicated emotional issues that affect you and your family, there is no right answer. There is no universal truth. There is only what works for you and your family, and checking the boxes you want checked in a way that leaves you comfortable and sleeping well at night. We are so far committed to independence camp that we've done things that make a little sense on paper. We own our house with our mortgage, which is the worst financial decision we ever made, but the best money decision we ever made. Mortgage interest rates are absurdly low when we bought our house. Any rational advisor would recommend taking advantage of cheap money and amassing extra savings in high return assets like stocks. But our goal isn't being coldly rational, just psychologically rational, coldly rational, just psychologically reasonable. Coldly rational, just psychologically reasonable. Eliminating the monthly payment feels better than it maximizes the long-term values of our assets. It makes me feel independent. I don't try to defend decisions those pointing out its flaws, or those who would never do the same. On paper, it's defenseless, but it works for us. We like it. That's what matters. Good decisions aren't always rational. At some point, you have to choose between being happy or being right. We do it because cash is oxygen of the independence, and more importantly, we never want to force to sell the stocks we own. We want the probability of facing a huge expense and needing to liquidate stocks that are all covered to be as close to zero as possible. Perhaps we just have a lower risk tolerance than others. But everything we've learned about the personal finance tells me that everyone, with an exception, will eventually face a huge expense they did not expect, and they don't plan for it. These expenses specifically because they did not expect them. The few people who know the details of our finances ask, "What are you saving for? A house? A boat? A new car?" No, none of this. I'm saving for a world. We cover resonate the more common than we expect. Nothing forces us to uncover unexpected means we're increasing the odds of letting the stocks we uncover the longest period of time. We invest money from every paycheck into these index funds, a combination of US and international stocks. There is no set goal. I just whatever is left over after we spend. We max out retirement accounts in the same funds and contribute to our kids and 520 college saving plans. And that's about it. Effectively, all our net worth is a house, a checking account, and some Vanguard index fund. It doesn't need to be more complicated than for us. I like it simple. One of my deeply held and lasting beliefs is that there is little correlation between investment effort and investment results. The reason is because the world is driven by tails. A few believe accounted for the majority of returns. No matter how hard you try investing, you won't do well if you miss the two of three things that are more move the needle in your strategy. The reverse is true. Simple investment strategies can work great as long as you capture the few things that are important to the strategy's success. My investing strategy doesn't rely on picking the right sector or in timing the next recession. It relies on a high saving rate, patience, and optimism that the global economy will create value over the next several decades. I spend virtually all of my savings effort thinking about those three things, especially the first two, which I can control. I've changed my investment strategy in the past, so of course there is a chance I'll change it in the future. No matter how we save or invest, I'm sure we'll always have the goal of independence, and we'll always whatever maximizes for sleeping well at night. We think it's our ultimate goal, the mastery of the psychology of money. We think it's the ultimate goal, the mastery of the psychology of money. But to each their own, no one is crazy. Beautiful book. Okay, I feel tired.